Israel Adesanya's second run as UFC middleweight champion will go down in the books as very different from his first. It comes to an end without a single title defense as Sean Strickland takes the middleweight belt from Adesanya in a shocking unanimous decision in the UFC 293 headliner in Sydney. This was a stunning performance all around, what Strickland was able to do in there, and then maybe Adesanya's side as well. Not looking much like the fighter we've seen when he's at his very best inside that octagon. He seemed a little lethargic on this night, just couldn't really get going, and that was, of course, a lot of Strickland's doing. Set the tone with that big first-round knockdown and didn't give Adesanya any room to really breathe or get into a flow state throughout this fight. And that is just a shocking result here and leaves Adesanya with some mystery about where he stands at this point in his career. 1-2 in his past 3 fights, 4-3 in his past 7. This seems like maybe the beginning of his downward spiral a little bit in his career, maybe the back end of it. This guy, we have to put it into context. He has been fighting for a long time, so many kickboxing matches, now a long mixed martial arts career under his belt, so many championship fights, 5-round training camps, a lot of things that'll take a toll on someone at some point, and it's hard to really know for sure if this was an off night from him or if we need to give all credit to Strickland for making this happen. Seems like this team, Adesanya's coaches, Eugene Behrman spoke to us after the fact. They seem very confident they'd be able to figure out this puzzle, and this just wasn't the right night of execution for them. They said if they get back in there next week, they think it would be a very winnable fight for them. That remains to be seen, I guess. We don't know what Adesanya is going to want to do. He didn't speak in the octagon after the fight. He deferred to Coach Behrman at his post-fight press conference after giving a very short and brief statement, which did not go into detail about the fight itself at all. So we don't know exactly what's going through his mind right now as far as the performance and then what the future holds. No doubt in my mind he's going to want the rematch. UFC President Dana White said post-fight makes sense for Adesanya and Strickland, and you would have to think that's the direction he'll want to go. He wants to be fighting for the belt. He wants to avenge the loss. You would think all these different things and show, similar to his previous rematch with Alex Pereira, that he can be the better man, make the adjustments, and get the win. It's just going to come down to timing here. Does the UFC want to wait as long as Adesanya may need, which could be a while? Maybe this time he takes a legitimate break instead of keeping up his insanely active schedule, or maybe he waits out a while and then wants a quick return. It's hard to know exactly where he's going to be, but for him, I assume he will want to have his next fight be a title fight, push for that rematch. But if not, maybe they go a different direction, give him a different fight in this weight class, rebuild himself, get some momentum and confidence back on his side, all these things. Right now, don't know exactly what's going through Israel Adesanya's head, other than the fact he is no longer the UFC champion, has to deal with having lost his belt to Sean Strickland, and knowing him, the competitor he is, the winner he wants to be, he will try to come back with a force and rectify this loss in a rematch. But a lot of questions about Israel Adesanya going forward coming out of UFC 293.